What's going on, guys? In this video we are going to see how to find out the output impedance of this transistor circuit. Now let's go ahead and draw the equivalent model of this one first. The equivalent model of this one will look like this. Okay, let's continue. Okay. Okay, let's put resistor right here and current source here and another resistor here. Here also will be a resistor, current source will be here and another resistor will be here. Okay, so this is a resistor and this is R51 and the voltage across this is V51, and here we will have a current source that is GM1 V51 and the resistor here is RO1 and this one is R out. This is what we are trying to find. Now here we will have the resistance R52 and the voltage across this is V52 and the current source here is GM2 V52 and then the resistor here is RO2. Okay, now that's the equivalent model of this circuit. Now let's go ahead and separate the top part and the bottom part. Now let's take the bottom part first. This one is the part I'm talking about. This is instead of Q2, I'm just going to take the Q2 alone and draw it right here. So I just put it upside down, so it's going to look like this. And this one connected to the ground, and this is RO2 and the current source here is GM-V52 and the voltage here is Vx and the current through here is Ix, and this one connected to the ground, and this one is R52 and then minus plus V52. Okay. Now that's it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply KCL right here. So let's go ahead and apply KCL. If I apply KCL, this is going to be current entering equal to current exiting, or we can say addition of all the current equal to 0. So if we say like that, so since this is entering, I put a negative Ix plus exiting, we have V52 over R52. Instead of V52, we can put Vx because this voltage here is going to be the same here and also the same here. So instead of this V52, okay, there's so these two, this is GM-V52, this is for this current source. The voltage across here, this one and this one can be also written as Vx. Instead of V52, we can replace because V52 is equal to Vx. So we can put Vx over R52 to make it simpler. Vx over R52 plus the current source, that is GM-V52 plus Vx over RO2, this one. That's equal to 0. And that's it for this one. And from this one you can bring this Ix to this side and take Vx common Okay, let's simplify this one. If you rearrange it, that's the easier part. So if you rearrange this one and arrange it in a way we want Vx over Ix. If you arrange it in that way, we will finally end up with 1 over R phi 2 plus 1 over gm2 plus 1 over R phi 2. That's what we will end up. Vx over Ix is basically R prime. R prime is equal to R phi 2 parallel 1 over gm2 parallel RO2. Now we have calculated R prime. The next thing what we are going to do is our purpose is to find out R out. So to find out R out, we just dealt with the bottom part. Now the next thing is we are going to deal with the top part. So I remove this bottom part to make this clear. Let's remove this bottom part. Okay, let's use a different color. Okay, now I'm going to apply KCL at here I connected all to the R prime because we simplified the whole thing, the bottom part to the R prime. So instead of the bottom part, I'm going to replace that one with R prime. Actually, we are going to solve this one all together, not only the top part. We simplified the whole thing to R prime and just connected to the bottom. Okay, now let's go ahead and solve this one. Let's keep this one alone and get rid of all the other things. Okay, let's continue. Now KCL at not, let's call this not V1. So KCL at not V1. If we apply KCL, this is going to be V1 over, we have R phi 1 right here, R phi 1 right here, and also we have R prime right here. So these two are parallel basically, since there's a not separating. So R prime parallel, V1 over R prime parallel R phi 1 is going to be the current here, and plus V1 minus Vx, V1 minus, okay, this one RO1, and let's connect this part to the ground. There's going to be a voltage source here. This one is connected with a voltage source, plus minus, it's Vx. The current through this one is Ix. So this one is going to be V1 minus Vx over RO1 minus GM1 V phi 1 is equal to 0. Now from this one we can simplify this one for V1, and if we simplify this one for V1 and write this is going to be Vx. Here what we just have to take V1 common and separate this one to the other side and do all the things. And also V1 here, V1 is equal to negative V phi 2. That's another thing to remember. V1 is equal to negative V phi 2. Okay, so instead of V1 we have to replace negative V phi 2. Actually instead of negative v51. Actually there's no v52, negative v51, and instead of this v51 we have to replace that one with negative v51. So let's write the equation that is replaced with negative v51. So this is going to be, if I keep this one as it is, this is going to be v1 over r prime parallel r51 plus v1 minus vx minus gm1. Instead of v51 I put minus v1, that's equal to 0. So here v1 is equal to negative v51. Okay, now let's continue this one here. Here we are just going to bring everything in terms of v1. If we bring everything in terms of v1, finally we will end up with v1 is equal to vx r1 r prime parallel r51 over r prime parallel r51 plus r01 plus gm1 r01 r prime parallel r51. Okay, now that's it for this one. Now we are going to apply KCL at not Vx, KCL at not Vx. Okay, let's go ahead and do that right here. KCL at not Vx. If we apply that one here, current entering is Ix. So entering we have to put a negative, so negative Ix plus Vx minus V1 over R01 Vx minus V1 over R01, and then plus gm1 v51 is equal to 0. Here all we have to do is we just have to substitute. We have to rearrange this one. If we simplify this one in terms of v1, and if we replace this v51 with negative v1 as we mentioned right here, v51 is equal to negative v1, we will finally end up with negative v1 1 plus gm1 r01 plus vx is equal to r01 ix, and instead of v1 we are going to replace this one. So this is going to look like minus vx r prime parallel r51 divided by r prime parallel r51 plus r01 plus gm1 r01 r prime parallel r51, and multiply that one with 1 plus gm1 r01 plus vx, that is equivalent to r01 ix. Okay, finally that's all we have. Finally we just have to rearrange everything in terms of vx over ix. That's the purpose. So there are a whole lot of rearrangement. That's all we have to do is just rearrange this according to bring this one in terms of vx over ix. Okay, so if we do that, finally we will end up with vx over ix is equal to r01 plus r52 parallel 1 over gm2 parallel r02 parallel r51, and that one multiplied with 1 plus GM1 RO2, and that's the actually RO1, and that's the final solution. And that is because Vx over Ix is equal to R out. That's what we are trying to find. I hope you guys find this video helpful. Thanks for watching, and if you are trying to learn electronics, there are a bunch of videos in my playlist. I hope you guys watch that too, and don't forget to subscribe. See you next time.